Before King Ahmed of Ottoman went to war, he locked his wife, his beautiful queen, in a private room and gave the key to his best friend, Musa, and said, "If I'm not back in 4 days, she's all yours." He climbed on his horse and gallops off towards the battlefield. Half an hour later, the king noticed a cloud of dust behind him. He stopped and saw his friend galloping very fast towards him. "What's wrong?" asked the king. Musa, breathing very heavily, replied the king and said, "You gave me the wrong keys." Can you imagine? Musa could not even wait for 4 days. He had tried the keys. With stories like this, how then do we invest in people? How then do we invest in relationships where there are people out there that will not even wait 4 days for you to be gone? They will try the key immediately because they are wishing death upon you. And they are ready to take over everything that you have, including your beautiful wife or business. African entrepreneurs, I'm going to be speaking to us about social investment. It has its risk, as you can hear from the story of King Ahmed. But also, like every other investment, it's got its own returns. It's got its own reward. And that's why I will be sharing with you in this series about the risk and the returns of social investment. Now, what is social investment, you may ask me? Social investment, as simple as it sounds, is investing in people. Investing in people. King Ahmed of Ottoman must have invested so much in Musa. And he said to himself, "You know, I can trust you with my wife." But even before a day, he encountered the risk of social investment. Do you need to? Do you have to? Is it important as an entrepreneur, as an African? Yes, it's very important. Africans and African entrepreneurs, especially those of us with the entrepreneurial mindset, the journey of entrepreneurship gets so much into us that we forget to even invest in our social network. We forget totally about the people that matters because we are overtaken by our entrepreneurial drive. We have to be careful who we invest in as well, because as we go ahead in this series, you would understand that social investment doesn't come cheap. It can be expensive. You know, it's going to cost you physically, emotionally, and even financially. You know, when we get to the series on our 3rd week, where I'll be speaking to you guys about how to grow your social network, you would understand what I mean, that it doesn't come cheap. So that's the more reason why you've got to be very careful who you choose to invest in. And from this series, I hope and I pray you don't miss a week out of it, because they're very sensitive information that you need, especially knowing the right people to invest in. Because if you keep going, you might just be another King Ahmed, and you would encounter one of the risks of social investment. You also have to know when to invest. Very, very important. You know, most people do not know this, but I would say to you, African entrepreneurs, the best time for any social investment, or to invest in relationships, in this case, is when people are vulnerable. That's the best time. What do I mean by vulnerable? Vulnerability is the exposure to failure, to pain, when people are afraid, the uncertainty, the unknown, and at every point in time, everybody is vulnerable. If you wish me a happy birthday on my birthday, and you think that's a social investment, I laugh at you, because I've got thousands of other messages that come on the same day. If you follow the LinkedIn reminder of happy work anniversary, I've got tens of thousands of that. So if you are investing in people's lives in those times, is that really social investment? You got to know that you invest in people as if you're investing in business. Like I said to you earlier, it costs money. It costs time. There's resources. So these things doesn't come cheap. And the same way business is, you've got to nurture it, and somebody's going to feel it, because you cannot fake it. You cannot fake it. Relationship, social relationship and social investment, it's built based on empathy and care. So you can't fake those things. And that's when it makes sense. So like I was saying, if you join the multitude to wish Miriam a happy birthday once in a year, or you join her to wish her happy work anniversary because LinkedIn reminded you, then that's not investment, because that person cannot feel it. That's not the right time. But when Miriam told you that I'm going for a job interview in August, and you decide to do what I call relationship intelligence, accumulation of data for future use, you put that date in your own calendar. Paul told you that my son's 10th birthday is in June, just because you were having coffee. And because of your relationship intelligence, you have accumulated that data into your own calendar. And 2 days before the interview, you say to Miriam, how are you, Miriam? How are you preparing for your job interview? She's vulnerable already. She doesn't know what to believe in. She doesn't know what to expect in that job. And she got that message from you, something she told you 6 months ago. That is a good social investment. When you invest in people, when they are vulnerable, you should expect a higher return on investment. When Paul gets that message, that how is David, your son, doing? I know it's his birthday tomorrow, and I just sent you $100 to get him a birthday cake for me. Remember to kiss that young man for me. You have won a huge stake in Paul's heart, because out of his mind or his imagination, he can never believe that you have gathered what I call relationship intelligence in the past to use for the future. African entrepreneurs, do you know that buying a stake or investing in a Dangote right now, like many of you would chase, might be a wrong investment? You're surprised. Yes, because the best time to make friendship with Dangote is 30-something years ago. That is why I would never, for any reason, underestimate gatherings like this. I would never underestimate relationships like this. Because if I buy stakes in Francis from Liberia's heart, or from Selam in Ethiopia, or Richard in Ghana, or Fode Sila in Sierra Leone, now, it is very possible he will remember me very well in the future. If you make friends with a Dangote today, I can tell you, you will hardly make it even to his contact list. Do not expect him to wish you a happy birthday. There's a ton of people that is trying to apply for that stage, that investment. And because there's a lot of people, what they get most is requests, so they don't even cater for those level of friendship anymore. Let me shock you. Most billionaires have made their friends in the past. So what am I trying to tell you guys? Invest now. Invest right. Because if you do that now with the right people, remember and take note of the word right people. If you've got to invest, then you've got to invest proper. Because as I said earlier, it doesn't come cheap. You find somebody on the way up. You know, people say, how do I know? You are too intelligent not to see that people are going up. We all know it. We can see, human being, we cannot deceive ourselves. If you look at your friends, your network, your high school mates, people in your gathering, on this network, in this charter, in this assembly, you can see those of us that are going up. We are going up. No, it might only take time, but we are going up. So the fact that I know Tekufatso, or I know Michael from Ghana, or Bubakar, these guys can never say they don't know me. And you know what? I am investing in them now. When I send Frederick's work in Uganda and I decide to share it on my platform, I decide to celebrate him, I decide to promote him, it's easy for Frederick to remember me. Do you understand how to make the right investment with cheaper money? The same amount of money you will use for a Patrice Motsepe, or for any billionaire in Africa, if you take half of that amount of money or time and invest to a brother or a sister going up, you have bought a much bigger chunk of relationship investment in that person's life. Now, I said to you, do not invest in a nobody. Invest in a somebody. Somebody who has the ability to transform or make something out of life. Do not get me wrong. My somebody is not somebody who is rich, successful, but somebody with the tendency and the ability to make a difference. And like I said to you earlier, open your eyes, open your ears. You would see they are all around you. For people to gather together here in this network, in this assembly, you cannot tell me that these guys do not have the tendency to succeed. These are people who have sacrificed their time for positive atmosphere and positive relationship. They have sacrificed their time for knowledge. And you are telling me that you're underestimating anyone in this gathering? African entrepreneurs, make the right friends and invest right. Now, the risk and the reward of social investment. Number one, forgetfulness. People forget. You might invest in people and they've forgotten. They don't remember. They get to a stage and they believe it's my own doing. The painful thing about mankind is they tend to glorify their efforts and nullify the efforts of the situation or circumstances that got them there. African entrepreneurs, that's one of the risks. You might find a lot of people around you that would forget. They could be your colleagues, your partners, your employees, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, they forget. That's one of the risks. And that's why you must know who to invest in. When we get to week 3, you would understand that, no, I must be very sure of which of my staff or my employees do I need to invest to. Which of my friends do I need to invest to or invest on? Because you don't also want to carry those with so much risk. What's the second thing there? When they forget, then there's ungratefulness. Some people don't appreciate. They don't just see, they don't just understand. And most of the people who are ungrateful about social investment are usually the kind of people that don't give social investment. So when you go out of your way to communicate to somebody, how are you today? How are you feeling today? Out of concern and empathy. Or you buy a gift. See, most people who don't appreciate gifts are people who don't buy gifts. And people will say, it's not the gift that matters, it's the thought. Let me tell you something. The thought will justify the kind of gifts that you buy. So if somebody buys you something ridiculous, then maybe that person sees you as a ridiculous person. So sometimes it's even better not to buy at all, because some gifts will create anger. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Imagine if somebody buys you something and you're like, what is this? What? You know, it was trying to buy you something, and that gift itself has caused an issue. African entrepreneurs, be generous enough to put your thoughts in the gift. Go out of your way to get something that justifies that kind of a person. Find a way to transfer your thoughts into that gift. Betrayal. I started with a story of somebody that entrusted his friend so much and said, 4 days, if I'm not back, take over my wife. He jumped on his horse. And a few hours later, the friend has gone to open the door. Betrayal would happen. You invest so much in people's lives. You invest so much in people's career. You invest so much in people's growth, and they will still, or they might still betray you. African entrepreneurs, wrong investment is the last risk. Like I made to you earlier, you are taking all your investments and you are thinking, no, I need this billionaire in my country, I need this attention. I'm going to buy him gifts today. I'm going to send his wife flowers. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. That guy is getting tons of that every birthday. Glory be to God if he remembers you. You're forgetting the people around you. You're forgetting the people close to you. You see, I traveled recently and I was with some people that I invested so much in. And guess what? These people are between the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The highest among them was about 12-year-old. And I made things like, you're the best uncle in the world. I love you, my uncle. You're the best uncle. I can't do without you. You know, all of them just saying so many things. When I entered into my flight, they were checking on me. They were sending me messages. And something came to my mind. Some of your best investment could even be in your nieces and nephews. Those folks are extremely young. It costs you nothing to buy that toy or to take them out to that vacation or to just play around with them. They will remember those moments. And the moment that young folk, that 14-year-old boy is controlling the Microsoft, all you have to do is give him orders. All you have to do is tell him, hey, John, it's me, your uncle. I'm sending somebody here to you. Do it. The president of your country has somebody like that. What kind of an uncle are you? What kind of an auntie are you? Those investments that are even people around, you are underestimating them. Because that boy is busy working on his feet in your community today. You are looking at that same boy. You don't know that if that is the next money of your country, the biggest footballer in your country, the guy who's going to be the highest paid guy in that your country, because it's on that street rolling tires and running naked. You cannot for one day and say, hey, I brought you this street. Or sit down, guys. Let me read you a story. What are the rewards? I'm going to run through it. You see, with the reward, like every other investment, there's always return on investment. Everybody or most people usually want to return the gesture. So somehow they owe you back. Somehow they owe you that kindness. They owe you that social investment that you've made in their lives. Secondly, they would always recommend you. Every right investment you make is a possible future recommendation for yourself. They will remember you anytime that good is mentioned. Now, your social capital will, of course, begin to grow. And you know, once you have that huge social capital, you can always harvest it at any time. Like I said to you, you calling that niece of yours and say, hey, do this or do that. And you know, so many other things you can always harvest from your social capital. And lastly, there'll be loyalty friendship, loyalty relationship, loyalty employees, loyalty partners that will run your entrepreneurial journey with you. African entrepreneurs, this is a series where we're going to flesh out many things on social investment. Next week, I'll be talking to you about who are your friends. Where are my friends? You begin to wonder. I'll talk to you about how to grow your network. I'll talk to you about how to give what you don't have. I'll leave you with this, that yes, there are risks, but the reward of social investment is the cheapest and is the safest form of investment you can make as a businessman or woman, because the reward can never be quantified. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
You're rocking with the best.
This is the Africa's Young Entrepreneurs, where African entrepreneurs at home and in the diaspora come together to connect, collaborate, and build strategic partnerships. Join us now.